Hey there, and happy Friday afternoon. So I hope that I can give you some inspiration going into your weekend. Been giving lots of inspiration. There's been great turnouts for my stamping events in person lately. I've in the last just over a week had one in Worthington, one here in my home yesterday in Fairmont. That was fun, and then I'm looking forward already to the one in Medelia on Monday, and I still have a few spots open for the one in Medelia on Monday night. So let either I or Tracy Henry, the community ed director, know if you are planning to come, and sooner than later, because I don't have a lot of hours in between now and then to cut cardstock. So I want to be prepared. That's always the biggest hurdle as far as having somebody sign up last minute. Of course, I want everybody there. If there's 50, great. I just need time to know to cut cardstock, right? So I will show you from beginning to end a fun fold. So some of you have already made this card if you've been to my events, and I'm going to show you a sneak peek then because I'm changing it up, just the color pattern for my fun fold for Monday night. So those of you who have been making this fun fold at my event so far, so let me show you a different color combination using most of the same supplies, but I'll get that turned around. And as I do that, I want to remind you that today is the last day of the seasonal sales. So it's been a 3-day event, and with that, it is annual catalog products, 20% off bundles, 20% off designer series paper, and 10% off cardstock, 10% off inks. So that's inks, blends, markers, refills, things like that. So bundles include punches and dies, and then the pretty papers are always a pretty thing. So yeah, so the deal is jump in. If you're thinking, well, I already have my Christmas projects planned, I'm even thinking ahead because Christmas is such a blur of a season. I'm thinking I need to buy my pinks and reds cardstock to get ready for Valentine's and projects like that too. So I'll probably be placing another order. So if you're local and even need a couple things and want to hop in on my order too, let me know, and I can add that on there as well. So thanks to you guys that have been ordering already with the sale. It's been great. Hi, Sandy and Kathy and Marilyn. Good to have you guys on here. So let me, like I said, show you this fun fold that I'm going to be making, and how to cut it. Like I am starting from scratch when I do today's card, and so hopefully it flows well. I get a little nervous when I've got a sample, but when I change things up, then it gets a little like dicey, right? Okay, so where I'm getting most of my products from is the mini catalog on page 37, and this Autumn Expressions bundle and suite of products has been fantastic. My favorite things have been the gold leaf things, which we'll use today, and I think I'm going to stick with these embellishments and the dies and the paper. So the paper has been fun. I wasn't sure if I liked, for today's card anyway, how the stamps would go with the paper that I'm choosing, so I might swap some things out. So that's where it might get a little interesting, right? And let me set that catalog down. So how I'm going to start this is with the card base. And before I do that, I want to show you. So obviously this looks very like rustic, fall, outdoorsy and such. And that is from the Splendid Autumn Designer Series paper that I just showed you. And some of these have that look, and some of these have more of a florally look. So but these are all in the same 6x6 pattern. So we've got some of these florals and some of that, and then we've got some even like daisy looking ones, but still with purple in there, and also some purple hues and just like this metal look. But all this paper is so pretty, and then the backs are pretty neutral but still kind of have almost like a texture look to them, even though they're not textured, but you know what I mean. So I thought, since about half of the papers kind of coordinated with cherry cobbler, the people that have made the card so far have went with the cherry cobbler base. And when I flip over, and that's how I get my inspiration of like what coordinates, It lists fresh freesia, and it does match. I'm not saying that it doesn't, and I'm going to pull out to show you. So if I were to pull this and put it on there, that looks gorgeous. But what I'm doing, I liked a little bit deeper, maybe because it's fall and I wanted a little bit heavier. I kind of like the look of that for like this pattern. Like I said, not wrong, just that's what I chose to go with. So I'm going to go with the Highland Heather. And let me just, like I said, I'm going to do this from scratch so you guys can see like how I made it. Because a lot of times I do so much of the cutting ahead of time before a class that you don't get to see the ins and outs. Or you don't get to see the tools. Like, you know, Stampin' Up! Has this awesome big scoring tool here. And so what I'm going to do is just want to make sure I did this right. Okay. Yep. Okay. Wait a minute. Yeah. Okay. So 2 1/8. I'm going to score that down. And then also 4 1/4. So we're used to doing 4 1/4 when it starts with an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. So a lot of times I will get out my big scoring tool versus just the scoring blade on here because I'm doing more than one sheet at a time. So now I'm going to cut this at 5 1/2, and then I automatically have two sheets or 2 card bases there. So that's why I did it with the 8.5 by 11 full, so that way you can get both the measurements there. Otherwise, just cut it at 5 1/2, cut it in half right away, and then still 2 1/8 and 4 1/4 for the scoring that way. And then the card is going to fold like so. Let me just take that, get my bone folder, and sometimes I still give it like a little bit of a push to kind of edge it or nudge it there so that it's even. There's nothing worse than having it kind of off a little bit, just then it makes it a little bit more difficult to put inside an envelope. Okay, so the next thing then that I'm going to do is cut the pretty paper. So let me get my trimmer back out, and I want this, it's going to be a tight fit going across, and so I want it to not only, if it's going to be tight going across, I want it to be kind of tight for the visual effect at the top and bottom as well. So this is 6 by 6, so I'm going to put it in my trimmer. I think I want, well, kind of like that sky too, and there's quite a bit of flowers. I always have to guess which end do I want it to cut off. So at 5 3/8, I'm going to just trim a little bit of the bottom. So that's all that we're trimming off. And then I'm going to flip it, and at 2 inches, I'm just going to cut and cut and cut, or cut and cut. There we go for now. Okay, and then I keep that in order. That's the important thing, because it's like putting together a puzzle. And then I'm just going to put adhesive on there. And I tell you what, if we can handle a 3-piece puzzle, it's a good start to our weekend, right? So I'm just going to lay that in there, and then I look at where that crease is and stay within those lines. So you can tell, like I said, it's a pretty tight fit there, but it's perfect for the panel because you kind of want the pattern to flow. So I'm just going to put that in that next panel slot, and then this is going to go onto kind of the full part of it here, like so. Okay, so that leaves us this little bit here, but what I do is pull in something that's a different texture, different color or something, and so I've played around with different specialty papers, and right now that, let me get the right name for sure, Season of Elegance. It's got the pretty peacock and some of the greens and some of the reds and even some of that gold and such. And so this is so pretty. I wonder if it tells us. Yeah, so the actual colors, mossy meadow instead of some of the greens. Old olive, pretty peacock, real red, and then gray granite, crumb cake, cherry cobbler, basic beige, and lost lagoon. And so I've really liked working with this pattern too. So I'm just going to once again cut. I'm going to use the flat side. Some people have chosen to use the gold for my classes too. I'm going to cut this also at 5 3/8. just a whole strip, and then I'm going to cut a 2-inch section off of that as well. So got that. So now we have completed all of that. Like I said, kind of like the flat look of that, but like the gold wouldn't be bad either. Maybe it kind of, I don't know, maybe I will do the gold for that, because some of the artist highlights there on the flowers are kind of bright. So I think I will do that. And that's just going to fill in that last kind of part of the panel. So I've got that going there. Hi there, Lori. Good to see you on here. And then for my next part of the card, I'm going to take another sheet of this Highland Heather, and this I'm going to cut down. I'm going to start with 6 inches and then cut it at 3. And then I'm going to move it over to the 3 again, and then score it at the 3. So it's like so. So we've got this little flap here, a 3x3 flap, and yet it's really 6x3 for measurements. And I'm going to give that a nice crease with my bone folder. All right, so we've got that. And then to kind of coordinate, I brought in and pre-cut ahead of time some basic beige 2.75 by 2.75, a couple squares of that. Now on my sample card, that is going to be the same but different. I pulled in some leaves and sentiment from that Changing Leaves bundle that's an online exclusive, because I kind of liked how that matched, but I didn't feel like it had the same look as that. But ironically, also the Autumn Expressions, I didn't know if I wanted that, and I could have gone with that. That didn't quite fit the flowers either. And so I thought, well, what does this kind of remind me of? And honestly, this reminds me of the Thoughtful Journey or Thoughtful Wishes suite from the annual catalog, where we've got that gorgeous like scenery 6x6 paper, similar types of styles and things. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to pull out some stamps from this stamp set, Thoughtful Wishes, and get out my Highland Heather ink pad here. And for this one, I had them stamp and then put the sentiment across. I think what I'm going to do is just get out some scratch paper so I can do some stamping off so that it's the same color of ink, just lighter. So I'm kind of getting out the one that is a thistle. I'm going to just kind of do that lightly on here. And then in Full Strength, You Make Life Better. This could be a birthday card or any kind of card. I'm going to do that Full Strength, although I don't like that. That's just too, this is where I said I'm stamping on the go, right? Okay, I don't like that so much. So I'm going to actually maybe just do a little tone on tone here. Let me grab another just piece of the basic beige. You Make Life Better. And I think I still like the direction it's going. So I'm just going to stamp that on a 1-inch strip. Don't you love how I have all my cardstock at my fingertips, so I can just easily do that. And now, oops, I'm going to cut that down to 2.75 here off camera. 2.75 by 1 inch. That's going to go over top there. All right, laugh with me, please. Okay, and then the other thing in here, there are some dots, and that's in also the Thoughtful Wishes. And I kind of just like the fill-in of the dots. Anytime there's a stamp set with the dots, I kind of get excited because it just does kind of fill things in. Okay, so I've got this. I'm going to cover up the words. And I do like that a lot better. So it almost looks like a little bit of a designer series paper there, but it definitely makes the words pop. And I like that look better. And so now this is ready to go on top of my little fun flap here. And then that second 2.75 by 2.75 piece of basic beige here, that's just going to go on the inside, and I'm not going to put anything on there. I'm not going to put dots. I'm not going to put a little bit of that thistle image because there's not a lot of space to write. And for You Make Life Better, that can be happy birthday. It can be just thinking of you, or a pick-me-up type of card, so I want to leave that blank for that reason. Now, before I adhere it to my card, I'm going to take and put some adhesive just on the one side, because what's going to happen is it's going to tuck. So I'm getting it kind of close, but still letting some of that gold show there. Give it a good press down, and because it's only on half, now that's going to tuck. And this now is that same size that you need for every envelope that we use for our projects, and same card size. So we've got that there. So for the people that love to just put little sentiments in it, some of you are like, I don't like writing on the insides of cards. Well, this is perfect because there's not a lot of space to write too much on there, but we still need to accessorize it. But I do like how this has come together. So like I said, this is going to be for my Monday class. But this is what everybody else has been doing, but very different look and feel just based on like the bold colors versus a little bit more muted. So kind of fun to see how different just choosing a different color palette for the same layout and even same paper packet can be. So now for this, I have some wild wheat, because that was what was in the back of the packaging for the Splendid Autumn Designer Series paper, and it kind of coordinates with that gold foil look and such, and kind of highlights some of the flowers in that 6x6 paper. So for that, oh, here it is. It's like, oh, and this does actually come from the Autumn Expressions bundle, so which coordinates with the paper that I am using. Oops. Just need to get my cutting pad out here, so I'm just going to put that on there and cut that through. Kind of gives us a little bit of a earthy foliage feeling on that, to add that. So let me just pop that out with my little take your pick tool here. There. And I love this die because it has little, let's see if I can get lighting on there, kind of little perforations on each leaf, so it cuts and gives it a little bit of texture there too, so that's kind of fun. So let me also show you something that's part of the Autumn Expressions Sweet Collection, and these are those woven golden leaves. You get 75 of these in a package, you guys. 75. That is a lot of leaves. So I thought, you know what? I have to commit to using these if I'm going to order them, because if I use them at a class, then I know I definitely have a lot. So I'm just going to put one leaf on a glue dot, on a mini glue dot here, and that's going to go here. And it's just such a rich, nice, like casual effect. And then I'm also going to put this on a glue dot as well. And I'm just going to kind of tuck and roll that into those bottom leaves there. So it's still sticky, but not too much. And I love how it's kind of subtle, but just adds something. So I've got that going on there. And then with these coordinating embellishments, these are the faux glass dots, and they are also part of that Autumn Expressions bundle. So like I said, most of it, except for the stamps, are all coming from that same fall bundle in the mini catalog. And there's not a lot of purple on there, but yet like some of these golder tones really match well with the centers of the flowers, and even like these two in that pattern and there too. So you see a lot of that, even though you're not seeing the dramatic purple. And so what I want to do is take one of those, use that with my take your pick tool. I think I'm going to do like a large one, or a small one. I'm going to take that off here. I'm just going to put that kind of next to there. And then I'm going to take from my yellow, I'm going to take a large one and a small one here to just kind of fill in the spots there. So we've got that. Or you could do, if you're making it all three the same color or something too, but I think it just kind of carries that theme through of all the different colors going on there. So hopefully you've enjoyed a new fun fold. And like I said, I love how like using up this paper. Sometimes I've said to people the 6x6 can be a little bit trickier for me, at least, to use than the 12x12s and cutting that down to size. So when I only have this little bit of a scrap left after using a 6x6 sheet, and then it shows the beauty, I don't feel like you're really losing out on too much of that by putting together a card like this. It kind of makes it fun. So hopefully that gives you some inspiration. And yeah, the measurements are very easy too. Very kind of like, you don't have to think too hard through the measurements, which is nice as well. So hopefully you guys have a good weekend. Like I said, it's the last day for the seasonal sale. So if you're needing just basic supplies like inks or cardstock, keep that in mind. And then also use my host code. Oops. Where's my camera going? Use my host code if you want a little gift from me as well too. So that's always fun for me to send out those little packages to you guys, either embellishments or a card or whatever based on your order size. So yeah, if you want to come to my class on Monday, let me or Tracy Henry know, and we will look for you in Medelia on Monday night. The class time is 6:30. I know in some places she had advertised 7 o'clock, and so for anybody that is planning on coming to the class, it is 6:30, which makes it a little nicer now that it gets darker sooner. So take care and have a great weekend. Thanks, Joyce. Thanks, Kathy. Bye-bye.